when we talk about narcissism, right, so how do we get there? How do we get to narcissistic personality? Well, we start out with confidence. We want our clients to have, right, confidence. We try to build it in them, right, the sense of self-efficacy, and that's terrific. But what happens is when that confidence, it kind of gets distorted, and we end up with a preoccupation, right? You get so preoccupied with yourself. And healthy people still hang around. You know, they're still around, right? And the way you know they're preoccupied is that you start kind of talking about something, right? Maybe you had a bad day, right? See? Just like those people, they're excited. They like this point. And, you know, right? So, and this person turns a lot of the relationships, you know, a lot of the conversation to them, you know. Oh, I've had a really bad day. Oh, God. Well, me too. They don't want to know about your bad day. They're going to use it just to talk about their bad day, right? And this happens for a while. Maybe you get a couple of your stories in, stuff like that, but you still kind of hang around. But then they become self-absorbed. And this is every story and every issue and every movie that you go to has to be the movie they want to go to. Every restaurant is the restaurant that they want to go to, right? And they're so self-absorbed. They don't even ask your opinion. They're telling you what it is. And healthy people start to self-select out at this point. Right? Healthy people are like, you know what? This is a real one-sided friendship. I'm out. Unhealthy people stay on, right? A lot of codependency, right? A lot of your covert narcissists, right? Stay along for the ride, right? So that they can feed each other, okay? So then there's self-absorption. It continues to grow because no one's reining it in, and then you end up with narcissistic personality. You have this degree of self-importance. Right? A lot of power fantasies. However, the reality is that our narcissists achieve very little. When we talk about, you know, our MDs that are narcissistic and stuff, the one that I worked with in particular, who's I think on the far continuum of narcissism, but he once told me, he goes, you know, even you could have gone to medical school. Oh, even me? And he was like, yeah. He goes, who can't read a textbook and know what's in it? That would be me. I've read a lot of textbooks, and I don't know everything that's in it. But he's exceptionally bright. There was no dissonance with medical school. Most people who go to medical school, there's a degree of dissonance, right? And it's difficult. When you're narcissist, before, I mean, you know, there's a degree. You want some narcissism in your MDs, right? You want them to think that they can help you and cure you and all that, yeah. But the pathological narcissism is that these folks are drawn to this for the power and the control and all the da-da-da-da-da. But what happens is that medical school is not dissonant for them. They're very, very bright, right? They learn about, you know, they learn about these medical procedures and all this stuff, and it's not dissonant. It's not hard for them because they can read a textbook and know what's in it. Okay? Most narcissists achieve very little because they won't risk, because that risk is so painful and it causes that narcissistic wound. So they tend to have very low vocational success, very low. Okay? Most of them are in your basement. Most of them say, I'm the best singer in the world, I'm the best guitarist, right, the best rapper, whatever it is. But they never try out and they never go out there. But if you want to see narcissism at play, is American Idol still on? I don't know. Is it over? Is it the last year or something? I saw it many, many years ago, and I really liked it. This one component, I didn't really like the show. I thought it was mean. But I liked the 3 episodes, you know, that they have first, right, where they show the losers. Right? And these kids who come on there, and I didn't like it like I thought that was cool. I think it's really mean. But for narcissism, it was a great example because what happens is you have these kids their whole life, and you see it in sports and stuff like that, that you get whispered, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. And they hear all these sweet nothings, you know, all through this stuff. You know, and, you know, you're the next, you know, Michael Jordan, you're the next Whitney Houston, you're the next, you know, Beyonce, you're the next John Legend, whatever it is, right? And you hear all this stuff. And then they go in front of these people, these idealized, idolized objects, right? Who, I don't remember, it was Simon Cowell, right? Paul Abdul and Randy Jackson, right? At least that's back when I saw it. And so here are these identified experts, right? These idealized others. And you go in front of them and you know, you sing because your whole life you hear it, and they say, you suck. That is a narcissistic wound. Now, how does that narcissism, you know, come out, or how do they balance that narcissism? You see it afterwards, and they're crying, and their family's there and supporting them and hugging them. And these kids that are crying profusely, I would like to know how many of those kids attempt suicide or go inpatient. I bet a lot. They would never tell you, but I'll bet you it's a lot. It's a narcissistic wound. You're not going to eradicate Simon Cowell. You're not going to eradicate Paul Abdul. You're not going to eradicate Randy Johnson. It's not going to happen. But then you have the other kids, and these are the kids that I like to see, because these are the kids who come out and say, They don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to come back better than ever. And narcissism intact, those kids don't hurt themselves. They go off and they tell them to stick it, right? And that's great because you want narcissists don't kill themselves, right? Okay? But when you incur that narcissistic wound, you get a choice. You can go external or internal. They can't go external to those three, so they're stuck going internal. So when we talk about those power fantasies, we see that they're the best singer and all that stuff, but they never really risk. And in that situation, remember, we're on that continuum. You have ones that go for it. Okay? And then you have that sense of entitlement. They lack empathy. They're interpersonally exploitive for their own needs. They have a unique sense of self, and they require admiration. And that admiration is constant all the time, and it's very tiring. Let me show you an example. And imagine that this guy is your client. And the hard part about this client is he's likable.